What's happening? Good morning. We are about to get these outer panels finally welded in. I'm doing the final fit on the rocker, like I told you I was going to do yesterday. And I'm doing the final fit on that quarter panel, that lower quarter panel section right there. And the rocker under that door right there. I think I'm going to adjust the door a little bit better so I got a better read on where exactly it needs to go. But happy to say we're going to be doing the final fit on this quarter panel section. Thank the Lord. I put this little section in the other day. I just got to trim that away a little bit so I can get that quarter back up there and then line up these holes that I put in here for the sheet metal screws. This inner part's all primered. The body, the floors are all nice and square, so it'll go right back on the frame. I've got some contour. You can see the little hammer marks on the rocker panel. I've got some contour in that thing, so it looks like a factory piece. Then I got to come in here after I get this thing all screwed in. See where the screw holes are there. I got to come in here and trim the rest of this quarter panel away, which is probably going to go to about right to this edge right there. That's where it lays right in there. I'll weld to that right there. This is all straightened out. I might go in here maybe and hammer and dolly a little bit more, but so far that's pretty good. This was all caved in right here because of that damage that was on this quarter panel originally. So then on this rocker where I got it screwed in here, excuse the mess, I got it screwed in here. I'll run a marker right across this edge right here with the paint marker, and that'll be my line. And then I'll cut that off, and this will butt right to that edge right there. And then of course I got my holes all punched. You can see here the holes are all punched, and that'll go to that inner rocker right here. This is, like I said, all brand new. I got to do some hammer and dolly on this because of where I messed with it yesterday and pushed on it with the porta power. It's kind of got some wobbles in it, but all in all, it's all good. It's Friday. You ain't got no job. I'm gonna do some body work today. Now I'm gonna get you high today. It's kind of crazy to think about that I'm doing one of the rarest Impalas of them all, a convertible 58. Back in the day when I was a kid, those were only kind of legends. Like in the 90s, you heard about people having a 58 convertible. I mean, you see them more now. There's more out there. But back in the day, I remember L. Larry from Lowrider magazine supposedly had a 58 at this guy Harvey's shop in Merced. I remember me and my homeboy Raul had driven by there one day, and he was telling me, "Oh yeah, L. Larry has a 58 Impala in that shop right there." The guy wasn't there. We ended up going back. He had a Pontiac in there, all lowrided out. This guy used to do graphics and full restos in Merced, named Harvey, and he was actually pretty good at doing it. I don't know where he's at now, but yeah, it's crazy to think about. I never thought that I'd be doing these kinds of cars. Convertibles, I mean, the first convertible I ever did was for a guy named Frank Martinez, and he was from Morgan Hill, moved to the Central Valley area, Modesto area, in the early 2000s. He found me in like 2005 or 2004, and I did my first convertible Impala. It was a 59, and I charged, I think, 15 grand to do that car from start to finish. It wasn't a frame off, but it was definitely some major body work, painted inside and out, color sand and polish, the whole thing. He ended up selling that car, but he still collects cars. I went to see him probably about a week ago because he always kind of wants to see what I'm doing, or he always asks what I'm doing. So I went to see him not that long ago. But it's crazy. Everybody's kind of interconnected in the car world. And the Turlock swap is this weekend. I'm not going to be going, I don't think. But a lot of guys from down south and from all over California and out of the state will be there, because it's one of the biggest swap meets around. But hey, I might, who knows, I might go take some footage or something, but maybe not. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend. Probably working on my commuter car, because I need to get that thing done. But anyway, I just thought I'd say how it's crazy that when you really think about everything, when you really think about what I'm doing, what I'm restoring right here behind me, pretty crazy, eh? Well, I almost forgot, there was like a little baffle that goes, I don't even know what it's called, but there's a piece that goes inside the rocker, and I had to make some tabs for it, and I primered it. It's right here. This goes inside the rocker. I have it opened right now, but it folds in half, and then I got to go pick up some seam sealer to put, because for vibrational purposes, it had seam sealer sandwiched together in between. So I put some tabs on it, because when I took it out, I kind of messed them up. It was kind of weak. It's not a very sturdy, thick piece. It's kind of a thin piece. So this goes inside the rocker. I repaired that, put some tabs on it so that I can weld it to the top of the seal plate and the bottom of the rocker. Now in a bit I gotta go get some seam sealer to put in there to make sure that thing doesn't vibrate inside the rocker. That would be hell of annoying. I got my line scribed for my final cuts. I trimmed the quarter panel section a little bit. Got to clean that up, primer the inside of those. I got my trim cut for the flange. I'm gonna weld the flange right now. Right there. I got it cut here. I got a relief cut, and I hammered this down to meet that flange on that car. So that'll get welded right now, and then I'll start installing these after I primer them. But first I gotta get some seam sealer real quick. Well, we're on the road again. I can't wait to get on the road again to go get some seam sealer. But both flanges are done on the quarter panel section and the rocker section. The lines are all scribed so that I can cut the final butt the final butt weld. Is that a word? Or the final butt joint. It's gonna be a butt joint. Hey! The final butt joint, so that I can, you know, butt it up. So all the lines are scribed for that. My inner baffle piece that goes from the inner rocker to the outer rocker is all repaired and primered. Now I got to go get some seam sealer to put that thing back in there, and I'll come back and I'll weld those in. Hey! Well, I went to O'Reilly's and they had some 8-inch killer pads, which is the big DA for like doing body work. And I like to give the panels that I'm working on, even if it's in bare metal, massage with 80. So I started massaging it, and of course I'm looking at it while it's all hung and mocked up, and I'm like, they just need a little bit more. And that's what always happens. I want to weld these in, but they just need a little freaking bit more metal work, where like there's some dividends, and I should just bond to them. I just say fuck it and bond to them, but I just can't. Like, that's what happens when you're into these cars. You're like, I could just bond to it, but then you just want to fix it too. You just want to like do a little bit more pecking and a little bit more filing and I think it's called perfectionism. You know, I'm trying to like, this is my mantra for like since 2015 is good enough or done, not perfect, because, oh, let me tell you, that's how I got so good at doing this shit, is because I used to freaking obsess over doing cars day and night, dream about it, everything. Like last night I had a dream about doing a truck that like was Mission Impossible. It was all dented to shit, and like I had a short deadline, and then I don't know, I had a gun. It was weird. It was a weird dream last night. I had a gun. Where'd that come from? I started blasting at the truck, and then I had my gym bag, or my backpack with all my, like my laptop goes in there sometimes. I got my iPad in there, all my business paperwork, and, you know, in folders, and like fingernail clippers and scissors and pens and paper clips, and you name it goes in that bag. And in my dream, I left it in the alleyway where I was shooting at this truck, and then I walked to my house because it was down the street in my dream. And then when I got to my house, I realized I didn't have my keys. And then I turned around, and my bag was sitting in the alleyway where I was shooting at this truck. And then this guy started stealing my bag, and I was yelling at him. And then my lady woke me up because I was doing that in my dream. Oh yeah, but I gotta bend these tabs real quick. This is that piece that goes in there. It goes like that. Seam sealer sandwich, like an ice cream sandwich, but seam sealer. And I gotta bend the tabs, put that in, and then let that dry while I'm pounding on these panels some more. Well, I cut that tab a little short. I don't know why. It's reaching, but I'll be able to hit it with the weld. The holes are there, so I can tack this in This one's pretty good. Still a little bit missing. Could have made these a little bit longer, but I'm not redoing them. They're done. The tabs are there. This goes up in the rocker, and this goes on the door jamb on the bottom on your skid plate or whatever. What is that called? The skid plate? I always forget what those are called. They go on the bottom of your door jamb. Anyways, that goes to the top of that, the inner rocker, and this goes to the bottom of the rocker right there. It goes in like, and there's, like I said, sandwich urethane sealer in here. All right, I got my seam sealer, 3M, Uptown shit. Ready for the. Here's a pro tip right here though. Always cut your tip at an angle. Hey, flows a lot nicer, just easier to control, just like that. Well, it's almost closing time, and the quarter panel's still not welded on. I'm still getting it primered. I was doing the final fit. It's close. My butt joint is looking pretty good. I just got to get that top edge welded on the quarter panel. Then I'm going to work on the rocker next week because it's Friday. Ain't got no job. Get you high today. No, but for real, I wanted to have this shit welded. Every time I try to do a video, compressor, this leaky compressor, I wanted to have this shit tacked in, but the seam sealer's taking forever to dry. The primer's taking forever to dry. I had to prep all the inside of the parts, primer everything. Well, actually, I'm just primering the quarter panel right now because I still want to hammer around on the rocker a little bit. The quarter panel seems to be pretty good as far as metal shape and fit. So I'm just gonna tack it up there tonight and get it tacked up there so that I can slide the other, oh shit. I don't know. I'm gonna try to get it tacked up tonight and see if I can even fit the other. Yeah, I should be able to fit the other section in because I got that baffle in there now. So I'm hoping that doesn't interfere with me like sliding that rocker in. I don't think it will, but hopefully not, because that would suck if I have to like fight it. I don't think I will though. Should be good. Should just like pivot in. Pivot. So let me see first. I'm gonna try to get it fit up there first before I start welding everything, or welding in general, because once I start welding, that's it. It's over. It has to go on. I got lucky. First try. It's gonna work. It's gonna weld. I have to trim just a little bit on the inside edge, but I don't have to take it back off. That's all that matters. I'm just gonna do it right on there. Just kind of trim it up real quick with the cutting wheel and just try to grind a little bit because it's kind of sticking out. Hopefully I don't have to cut this thing off one time and put it back on, because I got it tacked right where it's gonna go, and I can just start tacking and at least put as many tacks on until I go home and clock out, get out. But I don't have to take it off again. I got lucky, and I was thinking I might have to take it off to put that seam sealer on that edge of that panel, but the panel's not even close. It doesn't even touch, so I just leave that alone. That's not doing nothing. It's just in there. So I don't have to take it back off at all. I can just start tacking. I got lucky because I was kind of in a rush and I didn't know. Beep, 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 that boom. I didn't know all that. And as you can clearly see, the other panel will go in without a problem. It'll be a little bit tougher because it's going to be less flexible because it'll be welded more, but it'll slide in without any problems. Let's go. Sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose, but today we winning. Let's go. Let's go. What can I say? Big fat fail. It still needs a little bit more fitting. It's just one spot in the middle that is just too tight, and what tends to happen if you weld it too tight is it pushes up after it like makes a little mound, and you don't want that. You want it as flat as possible, so you do as minimal grinding as possible and as minimal filling as possible. So valió madre, which means big fat fail. And it's already way past closing time, so we're out. I'm like over it too, because like I tried a few times to get it to line up and I thought we had it, but a panel that big, you're bound to like fit it a few times. I just thought I had it the first time, but negatory Ghost Rider. Well, it's not exactly where it's gonna go because of that little tight space, but I was cleaning up all the tools for the week, putting everything away, because if I don't, I'll have a huge frustrating mess when I come on Monday. So I like to just wind the week down and pick up all the tools, put everything in the box and lock it up, and the welder I'll leave plugged in and everything else I'll leave plugged in and kind of just in place, because I'm gonna go right back to grinding on this thing on Monday. But what I am happy with is this thing's starting to like look really good. Like I'm excited that like everything's coming together nice. All the stuff that I'm putting in seems to be fitting very well, or at least fits enough that I know when I put filler on this car that it's gonna be like beautiful. Mwah. I'll get a long marine block on this thing, and I'll just like, because I'm a big guy, can like really work the panels like all the way across, like on these big quarter panels. I'll like do big long strokes at the end, and I'll get these things flowing with the door and the quarter panel all flush. And then I'll like at the end, I've even welded the doors together. I know some guys not weld them together. Don't do that, because I've seen some people do that shit, and that when you go to cut that all apart, just like what? But I even ran a tab on the inside and like tacked the door together, or like stick something in there, like wedge some wood in there, like some paint sticks or something, to where like if I could wedge it in there perfect enough, it'll like stay stuck, you know, in one position. And then I've done multiple things, but I keep the doors in place where they're gonna land without any strikers or latches or anything, and then I carve all that out of filler. And you know, of course, like if I have to like fill an edge or something, I've done that. You know, they like the pros. I'm not no like pro ass like badass metal guy. Like I'm just making do with what like I can do. You know what I'm saying? And I try to get them to fit halfway decent, so that when I put filler, and I don't mean a ton of filler like ½ inch or some stupid shit. I'm not talking about that. I get them within tolerances where I can like, I know at least a little bit of filler ain't gonna kill it, right? Ain't gonna like chip an edge or something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it just cleans it up. And then I carve these things out, even the jams, and at the end I'll like go in and like fill all the jams and like make I've even done where like I've kind of fake made like the little body lines, and then I'll go in and I'll seam seal it and make it look all factory. You know, you can do all kinds of shit. You can, if you wanted to, you can go around and bondo this whole thing and go around with the little like drill bit with a flat end or something on it and make like little spot weld. I've seen guys do that shit, but that seems like, why? You know what I'm saying? Like it has filler on it. Big deal. If somebody tells you one of these cars doesn't have filler, they are lying. Unless they do lead. Some guy, I don't even know if there's any lead guys out there anymore. There was a guy down south named Masterson that was doing it, and I don't know if he still does it. I don't follow him on Instagram anymore, but Bill Hines was teaching that guy how to lead and was showing him the ropes on that over there. And I don't know if he still does it, and I don't know who does it up here up in Northern California, but I don't know anybody that does it over here. I mean, maybe there's somebody that I don't know, but anyway, they got filler on them. So I'm happy that it's looking really nice. It's fitting really nice. Like it's gonna look good. It's gonna look nice. I can just tell. You know, it's not all beat up. Like I'm cleaning up all the body damage that was on it, you know, or that's on it, and then the rest I'm gonna dent pull and just try to get this thing looking nice. And then I'll fill the whole thing from end to end, even if it has a little small skim layer, and I'll just block this thing until it looks nice and flat all the way across. Primer it a couple times. You getting ready for it? I don't know. You'll be ready for it. I mean, if you've seen cars like that done like that, you know what it is. But if you haven't, park this next to a regular restoration, and it's just different. Because some guys will just take this thing all apart and not do all the filler in one section, and then you get the panels are kind of diving into each other, like they kind of both kind of concave in, and these cars are kind of like that from the factory. So I mean, it looks factory, but I like to see these motherfuckers flat all the way down and mirror finish. Let's go.